I'm convinced this underrated Star Trek Discovery Season 1 episode is secretly one of the show's best. Star Trek Discovery is a series known for its ambition, its willingness to reimagine Trek's visual and narrative language, and its determination to push serialized storytelling further than any previous incarnation. Yet even with all that fanfare, not every episode of its first season gets the recognition it deserves. Nestled among the headline grabbers, like the shocking Mirror Universe reveal or the reinvention of the Klingons, is an installment that often gets overlooked, despite quietly embodying everything Discovery did right. I'm talking about Season 1, Episode 7, Magic to Make the Sanest Man Go Mad. And yes, I'm convinced this underrated, time-looping bottle episode is secretly one of the show's absolute best. Below the big Klingon War arc, beneath the Lorca mysteries and Burnham's redemption storyline, lies a delightful, character-driven sci-fi romp that shows Discovery at its most charming, clever, and human. When fans talk about the high points of the season, they often point to the pilot, the Mirror Universe arc, or the finale. But this episode, it's the moment Discovery proves it can do classic Trek, updated, modernized, and emotionally rich, without losing its narrative momentum. Let's dive into why Magic to Make the Sanest Man Go Mad deserves far more appreciation. A return to classic Trek storytelling with a modern twist. One of the early criticisms leveled at Discovery was that it didn't feel enough like the Trek some fans grew up with. The serialized structure, the darker tone, and the war-focused storyline were a big departure. But Magic to Make the Sanest Man Go Mad manages to blend Discovery's modern aesthetic with a story that would feel perfectly at home in the Next Generation or Voyager, a time loop episode with escalating chaos. The premise: Harry Mudd infiltrates Discovery and traps the ship in a repeating 30-minute cycle, each time getting more efficient at his takeover as he learns from previous loops. It's classic sci-fi. It's playful. It's structured like a puzzle. And best of all, it's entirely character-driven. By focusing less on the war and more on interpersonal dynamics, Burnham's emotional vulnerability, Stamets' unique relationship with the mycelial network, and Mudd's deliciously spiteful villainy, the episode injects a breath of fresh air into a season dominated by intensity. Rainn Wilson's Harry Mudd steals the show. Rainn Wilson's take on Harry Mudd is one of the most inspired casting decisions of the series. His performance in this episode takes everything that made the original Mudd memorable and turns it up to 11. Still mischievous, still theatrical, but far more dangerous. In this episode, Mudd is petty enough to relive the same half-hour repeatedly just to perfect his revenge, clever enough to outmaneuver the entire crew, chaotic enough to make every loop a fresh nightmare, funny enough to keep the tone brisk and entertaining. Wilson delivers a villain who is both farcical and legitimately threatening, something Discovery rarely had the space to explore amid its more serious arcs. His ability to improvise new ways to kill Captain Lorca over and over and over gives the episode its darkly comedic spark, and every loop feels like a new showcase for his brand of unhinged mischief. He's a perfect antagonist for Trek's first modern time loop episode, and the show has frankly never used him better. A breakout episode for Michael Burnham's humanity, Magic to Make the Sanest Man Go Mad, also serves as a turning point for Michael Burnham. Up to this moment, Burnham has been carrying the heavy emotional burden of the Battle of the Binary Stars, her mutiny, and the war. She's stoic, guarded, and self-punishing. Then comes this episode, where she's forced to openly confront something far more personal than Klingon politics: her fear of emotional vulnerability. Her developing relationship with Ash Tyler, before all the reveals that come later, is tender, awkward, and deeply human. For the first time, Burnham lets herself hope she deserves love and connection again. When Stamets, who remembers the loops, pushes her to take emotional risks for the sake of the mission, she reluctantly does. And it's one of her most affecting early moments. Burnham's eventual admission that she has never been in love is the kind of character beat Discovery didn't always slow down enough to explore. This episode makes room for it, and Sonequa Martin Green absolutely shines. Stamets becomes the emotional anchor of the crew. Before this episode, Stamets was brilliant but prickly, still adjusting to the spore drive enhancements that would shape his arc. Magic to Make the Sanest Man Go Mad is the turning point where his connection to the mycelial network gives him a newfound clairvoyance, allowing him, uniquely, to remember each time loop. That turns him into the episode's storyteller, sending Burnham and Tyler on a kind of emotional scavenger hunt to uncover the pattern Mudd is exploiting. More importantly, we see Stamets embrace vulnerability, form genuine connections with the crew, radiate compassion instead of frustration, accept his role as the ship's spiritual center. This is Discovery beginning to reshape Stamets not just as a scientist, but as someone who fundamentally understands the interconnectedness the series loves to explore. Without this episode, Stamets' later journey, especially with Hugh and the network, would feel less grounded. The tone is pitch perfect, fun trek. The first season of Discovery is heavy, war, betrayal, loss, politics, survival. But magic to make the sanest man go mad gives us something sorely needed. Laughter. Some highlights. Lorca's many deaths. Played with dark, comedic timing. Burnham and Tilly navigating an awkward party sequence. The crew finally relaxing for once. Stamets dancing and hugging people like a man possessed. Literally. The twist ending that gives Mudd a fate both humorous and fitting. This balance of playful energy and intelligent sci-fi is the heartbeat of classic Star Trek, and it's rare to see Discovery lean this hard into it. But when it does, it absolutely works. A bottle episode that makes the most of every second. Despite the contained setting and limited timeline, the pacing is crisp, the stakes feel real, and every loop feels purposeful. The episode showcases efficient, clever writing, rhythmic editing that keeps the looping fresh, strong character arcs woven into a sci-fi puzzle, a satisfying, Trek-appropriate resolution, and let's not forget, it all happens within 30-minute loops. The structure is as tight as a coiled spring. A rare episode where everyone gets a moment. Ensemble episodes are hard, especially in a serialized show. But magic to make the sanest man go mad is one of the few times in Discovery Season 1 where nearly every major character gets a meaningful beat. Tilly shines socially and comedically. Burnham cracks open emotionally. Stamets evolves spiritually and scientifically. Tyler deepens his connection with Burnham. Lorca plays the deadpan victim to perfection. Mudd dominates as a layered antagonist. It feels like the episode where the Discovery crew finally begins to feel like a family. Not a wartime unit, not a ship of strangers, but a crew of individuals with quirks, hopes, pain, and humor. The ending is pure, vintage Trek. After all the chaos, destruction, and timeline resets, the episode returns to Trek's moral center, compassion mixed with justice. Rather than killing Mudd or imprisoning him indefinitely, the crew turns him over to his wife Stella and her father. It's comedic justice, humane punishment, and an ending that feels ripped straight from 1960s Trek, updated for modern audiences. It's a reminder that even in its most chaotic moments, Star Trek is still about grace.